Hello everybody and welcome. It's Hugh here at Loxone and I'm here with another one of our Focus series webinars. As always, we like to go into an in-depth function block, feature or use case of Loxone in these video series. And for today, I want to continue the theme that we've been doing the last few videos of looking at features that will be coming up in version 11 of Config and the app. And so for today's subject, we are going to take a look at music. So the music interface, the music in the app has been completely overhauled in version 11. So let's take a look at what it looks like. So the music interface, as it says there, has been completely redesigned. None of the original has stayed as it was. Completely redesigned to improve your navigation, improve your overview, improve the use of it, so it is just much slicker to use. Less button presses, less to do. It's just super cool. I unfortunately won't be able to show you the quick actions on an Apple Watch because I personally avoid Apple like the plague, but I'll hopefully give you an overview of the other features instead. Now, just to quickly refresh, because somebody in yesterday's Q&A asked to go over the music server and how it's all wired. So just to give you a quick snapshot of the music server options in case you've never installed one from us before, our music server is available as a 4, 8, 12, 16 or 20 zone. And it is these 3.5mm outputs here that are the zone outputs. When you buy one of these, it will come with a data sheet that will tell you which is which, because I've got to be honest, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that the top left one is the line in, and then it goes zone 1, 2, 3, 4. But then that doesn't make sense because I don't know what that one is. But just pay attention to whatever the data sheet tells you. And then music server to amp and then to speakers goes a little something like this. I wonder if I can zoom in on that image at all for you. Yeah, this will work. There we go. So music server at the top. And as you can see, the zones come out of the music server. So that is your trigger. Your trigger goes to your amp to turn the amp on. The amp has a dip switch where you can set between trigger, auto, or on. Trigger, you use the trigger output. That's the one I'd recommend. Auto, it tries to auto detect the volume level, but low volumes it doesn't detect. And on, it just leaves the amp on permanently, which is very, very power hungry. Then your cables from your music server are 3.5mm to RCA cables. And then these are the different zones on the amp. The amp is a 6-zone amp. So it is 6 zones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each zone, you've got a left and a right channel. And so this is an example of a few of the different ways of wiring zones out. So this first zone is an example of a Loxone ceiling speaker being used in stereo mode. So our speaker has both mono and stereo available on it. Never do this. Never ever do a single speaker in a room in mono mode because most songs will sound rubbish and you'll miss half the track. This or this are the ways of doing it. So in a small room like a WC with a single speaker in, you could do it in stereo mode. So 4 core speaker cable back to the amp, left and right channels from the amp, both wired into the same speaker, and left and right channels from the audio zone into the amp. In larger rooms, you would do pairs of speakers, with one speaker being the left channel, one speaker being the right channel. And then left channel, right channel, zone from the music server. And then for super, super large rooms, you would do more than 2 speakers. So you do 4, 6, 8, however many speakers you wanted. And these speakers, you wire to spare zones on the amp, and there's a little dip switch which you change from being a line in to being bus instead. And then what you do is the zone from the music server wires into the bus input here instead. And then what it does is it shares this out to all of these ones that are linked over to bus. And that's your way of doing it. And that means that you can end up with one music server with more than one amp. So for instance, if I wanted 4 zones of music, so 4 rooms of music, but in each room I wanted 12 speakers, it's entirely doable. I would end up with 4 amps, and it'd be 1 amp per zone essentially. Alrighty. So that's just because somebody wanted a quick overview from yesterday of how it all wires. So now on to the important bit of the V11 changes. So the first change is a completely new music interface, tile layout for favorites, tile layout for user shortcuts, easier navigation, easier Spotify navigation. So you don't need to press more anymore. You don't need to choose whichever one you want, and then it opens up a new tab, and then you have to type in there. It's all available on the one page. Now playing screen shows your album art scrolls, the layout is more intuitive, it is lovely. You can also do new group creations, you can send equalizer levels to different zones, and there's also a global search function. So let's take a look at it properly instead of just seeing some icons of it. So this is our base camp in the UK. Dining room is the room I'm in. And so here is our music server zone. And so this bit is exactly the same, plus or minus to mimic the switch. But if I click in here, this is where it all changes. This is the new music interface. So no more does it just show your current playing with next, play, pause, and then you have to press more to get into this bit. It is all in one place. From here, straight away on the right-hand side, I can see my favorites. I could do a global search, so I don't have to go into the specific thing I want and search for it anymore. I can do it all in one place. So if I wanted to listen to Bastille, I type in Bastille, I press search, and then I say I want it on Spotify. And there it is, artists. Obviously, this is still a beta, so there are still going to be a few gremlins in here. But here we go, here's Bastille, and I can start playing Bastille straight away. Amp powers up. And there we go, Bastille. Awesome. So that's the global search function. In the same way, I could do it for radio stations. So if I want to listen to Jack FM, over to internet radio, there's Jack FM. Really, really simple. Our way of doing favorites has also changed as well. So 3 dots, and you can see here, I've got a few more options on the 3 dots next to something. Save as favorite to zone dining room. Choose that, select which position it goes in, apply it, and it is now there as a favorite. So that is much, much quicker and straightforward for favorites. The other great addition is shortcuts. I absolutely freaking love this. So now on a radio station, 3 dots, or in fact anything, radio station, playlist, local library, Spotify playlist, doesn't matter, create shortcut. And now it says Jack FM added shortcuts. And I haven't fully tested this out, but I believe what it does is I think you can add shortcuts to your favorite screen. So that again is a super cool feature. Probably should have tried that one out more before I showed you it. And you can also see the shortcuts down here as well. So as well as favorites, you have this ability for shortcuts. So it's just super, super flexible, super, super easy to use. Other new changes, zone groups. Groups are now much, much easier to use, to identify and to work with. So I can straight away in this see that the hall and the cinema are currently grouped. I can see that the office and the lounge are currently grouped, and I can even see which ones are playing and which ones aren't. If I want to add the dining room to this group, I can do it really easily with pick up group. I can edit the group really easily and take zones out of it, add zones to it, or I could create a new group with the dining room. So here's my dining room, create a group, add the hall in as well, press tick, amplifiers being switched on. And there we go, we can now see that the hall has jumped to the dining room group. Pause it, pause is just the dining room, hall keeps on playing, but I can click in here and control the hall as well, and control the volume in them both separately, or control the global volume for the group as a whole. So really, really slick with zone groupings as well. Spotify has also changed in the way that we can use it and we can get to it. This is again here, straight away in the zone. I don't need to go into any extra boxes for it. I can see all my favorite playlists, new releases, genres and moods, any favorited playlists. I can create playlists straight from here as well. Super, super slick. The other feature that I really, really like about this, I don't have to select the Spotify account I want first and make sure I'm not playing one that somebody else is playing somewhere else. You can actually get a drop down and you can actually say which Spotify account is the favorite Spotify account for that particular room. And then it will keep that Spotify account choice every time you go back into this zone. Say what the preferred Spotify account is for that room. Internet radio, much the same as it was before. Again, complete list. You can go into different categories of genre, world, local radio. So all of these are still options there. And then the other things to show you relate to settings. So settings has again had a big overhaul. So with the display, you can adjust the list order that it appears here. So you can adjust the appearance of the list. Really, really nice. Shortcuts, already shown you before. There's my Jack FM shortcut that I can get rid of as well. You can also go into volume settings. So volume settings used to only be available in either config or via expert settings. Volumes, so default volume, max volumes, text-to-speech, alarms, doorbells, all of those volume settings are now available in the app as standard. So I don't need to go into expert settings. I don't need to be an administrator. Your homeowner, your user of the system can set these as they want to. So there's another one of our options. Other in here, equalizer. So here's my equalizer. I can also apply my equalizer settings to any other room as well. So if I find equalizer settings that I like in this room here while I'm listening to it, I don't need to go and recreate them in every single room. I can just tick the rooms I want to send that equalizer setting to, press tick, boom, they're done. Really, really nice and easy. Zone favorites, you've already seen. I can import favorites from another room, which is really nice. So if I've already created my favorites in the hall, I don't have to recreate them in the dining room. I can just import them. I can also transfer my favorites from a room to another room. So again, much, much slicker, much quicker, much easier to work my way through. You'll also see Google Music has disappeared. That's because Google Music is ceasing to exist and it's becoming YouTube Music. Google have too bad a habit of adjusting their API on a whim every few months. So from now on, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, AirPlay will be the supported services. You'll be able to see AirPlay. You can turn it on and off through the app as well now. So again, don't need config. Line in, here's me line ins. And again, can nice and easily show them or not show them, rename them, and also change the icon in the app as well for any line-ins I've got. Library, ooh, that's interesting. I have the option to add a network folder. That may or may not be coming with version 11. I am currently running the alpha release, so an internal release. There may be some features in here that are currently in testing and won't be in version 11. And then, as per usual, adding Spotify accounts. So the ability to add Spotify accounts to your music server. And again, may or may not be coming in version 11. It may be an internal testing feature. So overall, that should hopefully give you a brief outline of a lot of the changes that will be happening to the music server. I am a big fan of all of these changes. They just make it so much slicker and so much easier to use. So for me, if I want to listen to any music, I used to find myself with AirPlay being my primary method of doing it, just because I felt, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit clunky before. I find it so much slicker and easier to use now. It's so easy to search through Spotify, to search through local library and start playing something. I can click here, takes me straight to the groups. I can start playing in other zones in the group really easily. Edit the group really easily. Start adding all the other rooms. There we go. I'm now playing in every room. If I pause in this room, just about here it's still playing in the other rooms. So really slick overview and usage. And again, global control of that whole group. And there it is. There is our overview of version 11 app update for the music server. Please, for your own homes, for your demo cases, but not for customers, grab yourself version 11 before it's released. If you would like to do so, then this is the link. Loxone.com, ENEN, info, public beta. Version 11 is due imminently, but please test it out in the meantime. You've got both config and the app here for version 11. You'll see they're currently listed as 10.5. Obviously, the public release will be version 11. Config, iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, Linux apps as well. Get your hands on it, try it out, love it, buy yourself a music server. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for joining. Hope you've enjoyed this little webinar. Please stay tuned for others. I'll keep updating you on upcoming features of version 11, and we'll also keep on doing nitty-gritty focus topics as well. See you all next time. Goodbye.